Hey, yeah, so I realized I kind of missed a very important topic in my book, something that is foundational to understanding most of it. Uh, Something I call experiential intersections. So, what is it? Well, experiential intersection is what you usually would attribute with the term consciousness or mind, this merger of experience and the body, the thing that the this connection between them, this relation between them, produces the phenomenology which you usually would attribute with the term consciousness and mind. Uh, but how does that work? Well, to understand what an experiential intersection is, first need to know what intersects with what. So I'm saying that experience intersects with a body, but what is a body and what is a experience? So, in segmented aspects, both experience and the body consist of what I call fundamental dimensions. What are fundamental dimensions? Well, fundamental dimensions are dimensions, what you think dimensions are, but they are not all the other things that you might call dimensions, which you kind of know they are not. Like, for example, metaphorical use of the term dimension, that's not like if you have a party and the decoration gives it a younger dimension, that's not a dimension. And when you're saying, let's say, that aliens come from a different dimension, but dimensions are like just if you have height and width and depth, that all the elements inside that space have that extra dimension. So what does it mean that an alien comes from a different dimension? It's like weird. It's unclear. So instead, the term fundamental dimensions, it means exactly what, let's say, height and width and depth mean, which is like something that exists and things that exist in it. Now, for something to exist in something else, the thing that exists, it must exist. That's just basically the property. So it becomes just another way of saying that all the things that exist are fundamental dimensions. All the things that are separate from each other. They are not the same element. Each element that is not consisting of other elements is the fundamental dimension. Each basic element. So experience is one fundamental dimension. It's separate from all other fundamental dimension, all other things that exist. It just is. The thing that produces, let's say, the whatever is the substrate of, let's say, height or width or depth, like space, that's a fundamental dimension. It exists. It's not it's not experience. Like, if experience is a fundamental dimension, fine, but it's too, the sense of being, which is experience, is too that lacks too much to explain how the mechanics of the brain and the universe, and it just contains more stuff, too much stuff that just the sense of being can't explain. But so you have experience and you have the other things. These other things, this collection of other things, is what I call the body. But why? So one thing to note is about experience and about being, the sense of being a fundamental dimension, is that to be, you have to have progression. You have to have a progression from one configuration to the next. Even though in all configurations, everything that you perceive is experience, and experience is experience, everything is experience. Yes, but it still has configurations. And to move from one configuration to the next, to have change, to exist, you need to be able to have different configurations. And where do you get these configurations? You get these configurations by reflecting from experience, reflecting on some of the other fundamental dimensions, and the reflection, when it reflects back, it perceives itself in a different way, and from that it understands where should reality go next, and that's basically comes to produce what you consider physical reality, wakeful reality. It's like a light source, and it's like it's firing, it's shooting its light onto other elements. The elements return like a prism, return the light back to it, and that's how experience perceives something. Like think if there's light and it doesn't ever hit any object, it never reflects. Then there's darkness. There's nothing to perceive. The only way something can be perceived is if it reflects back on the light. And that's basically this. It's a metaphor, okay? It's not a... so that's an experiential intersection. It's this relation between experience, the fundamental dimension of experience, and all other fundamental dimensions, or not all, on the selection of fundamental dimensions that constitute the body that it perceives at that moment. There is no more real, in segmented aspects, a more real version of the body, like something that is that more like the physical space. Physical space is just a reflection. It's not the thing that produces that reflection. That thing that produces that reflection just stays there. It's just experience that perceives it, makes it manifest this sensation of a world. And so that those things, these elements, these fundamental dimensions that exist that are not experienced, this is just a static repository of potential perceptions. This is, I call it the fractal scape, because of the how you can create very complex patterns with very small amount of separate elements, which is kind of like fractals. But so basically, experiential intersection is it doesn't exist by itself. It is a relation. It can change. It's a relation between experience and the body. Whenever the experience shifts to beam its light on a different set of fundamental dimensions, it perceives a different body. So it is basically expressing the idea that at this specific moment, experience is intersecting with a specific set of fundamental dimensions, and that specific set is its body space. It is the thing that produces everything that it perceives, from the tip, from the edge of a remote galaxy to the tip of your nose. And this being at the same time experience and perceiving this set of fundamental dimensions, this relation between experience and other between fundamental dimensions. This is what I call being metadimensional, which I think I explained in a different video, but yeah.